Good evening, I'm Kareem Johnson.
And I'm Paris Walls.
Big changes are coming to the structure of the graduate school, and the provost position is making a change too. We'll tell you more.
A racial incident involving 2 SLU students makes SLU students evaluate race relations on campus.
Will it stay warm, or will Old Man Winter come back for another round? We'll have the weather week ahead.
The Super Bowl is this Sunday. We'll talk a little about the big game and give an overview on our Billikens men's and women's basketball teams.
Those stories and more next in 2 minutes on SLU-TV. Good evening, and thank you for joining us this evening. President Biondi's January 27th message to the SLU community announced some drastic changes to the structure of the university. The university provost position has been eliminated, and 3 senior vice presidents will take their place, with one on the Frost campus, one for the Health Sciences campus, and one for the Madrid campus. The graduate schools will see changes too, with each college in charge of its graduate program. With these changes, Frost campus will still be without a permanent vice president, a position temporarily held by Manoj Pantankar, which will remain until this position is permanently filled.
Last Wednesday's Student Government Association meeting began with seating 7 new senators and the State of Association address given by President Michael Harris. Harris highlighted the accomplishments of the 37th General Assembly, noting the legislation that expanded the hours of the Pius XII Library and the amount of financial assistance given out this academic year. Following the association address, Director of Housing and Residence Life Alvin Sturdivant addressed the SGA about the 3% increase in the room and board rates and the new rule requiring freshmen and sophomores to live on campus. Financial Vice President Robert Maley also addressed the issue of student organizational funding, noting that an organization must attend an annual funding presentation, upload a constitution, submit executive board information, upload member lists, and have a budget completed by March.
And Chief Meteorologist David Keller joins us now. Last week was kind of interesting. We had really deep cold, then it snowed, and now it's looking like spring again?
We're having a little bit of mild weather, but we did have some snow last week. We got some video of it on the campus late Friday evening as that snow moved in. It was heavy at times, but it only really amounted to little more than a dusting here in the St. Louis metro area. Down to our south, some areas like Farmington got 6 inches of snow or more even in the Boot Hill of Missouri. Tonight we have temperatures that are in the 30s. It is 37 degrees outside right now. We have a few spots of flurries and some light drizzle in the area, and we'll continue to see those throughout the night. Across the area, temperatures are in the middle 30s. In fact, the entire area is in the 30s as of this evening. Temperatures overnight are going to fall into the upper 20s with a low of 29 degrees tonight. Mostly cloudy skies, some scattered flurries, and some drizzle as a weak system moves through. We'll talk more about that and a possible additional storm system towards the end of this week in full weather later than the newscast.
Okay, we'll wait with bated breath.
Okay. In other news, in other news, a local landmark by Village Apartments closed its doors Saturday night. Iggy's Mexican Cantina opened 2 years ago in August of 2007 and has since served students delicious Mexican food. The owner, Fernando Aguirre, confirmed its closing with the University News.
Tempers are running high over the racial incident. SGA's January 20th meeting, members of the Black Student Alliance spoke about the incident and racial relations at SLU. BSA Senators Maya Johnson and Charles Turner stated that two visibly drunk white males allegedly banged on her door. This part is in the news. The female victim called the Department of Public Safety and told the students to leave. One of the male students allegedly yelled a racial epithet at the victim and referred to lynching after repeating the slur. DPS Director Lauer stated in an interview with the U News that the incident was treated as a peace disturbance call. He also stated that the student that made the remarks was later arrested by the St. Louis Metropolitan Police. Scott Smith, Dean of Students, stated that there is a biased incident committee in place to respond to incidents like this, and the committee has representatives from various campus organizations, including Housing and Residence Life, Student Conduct, DPS, and Athletics.
When we come back, a St. Louis favorite hangs up his cleats.
And the president makes some changes to the No Child Left Behind Act, so stay with us. passenger trips may be coming soon to St. Louis, to the St. Louis-Chicago route on Amtrak between Kansas City and St. Louis. The Obama administration is setting aside $1.1 billion to the state of Illinois to increase the speed of trains from the current 79 miles per hour to up to 110 miles per hour to cut about 4 hours off the 5.5-hour runs between St. Louis and Chicago. This construction is expected to begin this year and complete in 2012. Missouri is receiving $31 million to reduce delays between St. Louis and Kansas City. Amtrak provides the nation's only true high-speed rail service in the northeastern United States. The Acela Express, which reaches top speeds of 150 miles per hour, serves New York, Boston, Philadelphia, and Washington. Amtrak trains carried over 577,000 passengers in some parts of the St. Louis to Chicago run during the 2008-2009 fiscal year, a daily average of 1,500 passengers. The 5 daily trips stop at 7 cities along the way.
Kurt Warner, the quarterback of the Arizona Cardinals and previously of the St. Louis Rams, announced his retirement from the Cardinals last Friday. In 124 regular season games, Warner completed 65.5% of his passes for 33,344 yards and 208 touchdowns. Warner and Fran Tarkenton are the only NFL quarterbacks to throw for 100 touchdowns and 14,000 yards for 2 teams. No player in NFL history reached 10,000 yards passing in less games, and he tied Marino as fastest to reach 30,000. He has the top 3 passing performances in the Super Bowl history. His 1,156 yards passing in the 2008 playoffs broke the NFL record of 1,063 he set with St. Louis in 1999.
Laws that forbid motorists from using handheld phones or texting while driving may not have a significant effect on the number of crashes, at least in a report the Highway Loss Data Institute expected to release on Friday. The study comes amid stepped-up efforts by the federal highway safety regulators to ban texting while driving and curb other forms of driver distraction. Transportation Secretary Ray LaHood last week announced rules to forbid commercial truck and bus drivers from text messaging while driving. The Transportation Department, in a statement Friday, criticized the HLDI findings, saying that it is irresponsible to suggest that laws banning cell phone use while driving have zero effect on the number of crashes on our nation's roadways. The HLDI research organization, sponsored by the insurance industry, studied data on monthly collision claims in 4 states that banned the use of handheld phones by motorists before and after the bans went into effect. The HLDI also compared collision data from states that enacted bans on driving while texting and phoning to accident claims in states that didn't enact such bans. In New York, the HLDI says the researchers found that the collision claims decreased compared to the other states, but decrease began before the state's ban on handheld phoning took effect. Adrian Lund, president of the HLDI and the Insurance Institute for Highway Safety, said in a statement that finding doesn't augur well for any safety payoff from all the new laws that ban cell phone use and texting while driving.
Toyota Motors on Monday said repairs to accelerator pedals in millions of recalled vehicles would begin later this week as it tried to reassure customers and show that it had the situation under control. Toyota said many dealers would have extended hours and some would stay open around the clock so that the pedals could be fixed as quickly as possible. The president of Toyota Motor Sales USA, James Lentz, insisted that the pedal repairs, along with modifications aimed at preventing the pedal from getting trapped under the floor mat, would resolve the problems with unintended acceleration that prompted the recalls.
The Obama administration is proposing a sweeping overhaul of President Bush's signature education law, No Child Left Behind, and will call for broad changes in how schools are judged to be succeeding or failing, as well as the elimination of the law's 2014 deadline for bringing every American child to academic proficiency. Educators who have been briefed by administration officials said the proposals for changes in the main law governing the federal role in public schools will eliminate or rework many of the provisions that teachers' unions, associations of principals, school boards, and other groups have found most objectionable. Currently, the education law requires the nation's 98,000 public schools to make adequately yearly progress as measured by student test scores. Schools that miss their targets in reading and math must offer students the opportunity to transfer to other schools and free after-school tutoring. Schools that repeatedly miss targets face harsher sanctions, which can include staff dismissals and closings. All students are required to be proficient by 2014. The changes would have to be approved by Congress, which has been at a stalemate for years on how to change the policy.
The White House said Sunday it will resume a U.S. military airlift on Haitians seriously injured in the earthquake, some with devastating burns, head and spinal cord trauma, amputations, and other wounds, to American hospitals. The humanitarian effort was suspended 5 days ago following complaints from the state of Florida that its hospitals were overwhelmed. The flights were halted on Wednesday after Florida officials complained that their hospitals were overwhelmed and they needed a plan for reimbursement for the care they were providing. Federal and state officials worked through the weekends to address concerns enough to restart the medical evacuations. With an estimated 200,000 people in Haiti dead and a similar number injured, the halt to the evacuations quickly evolved into a roiling controversy distracting from the enormous efforts made by the United States to help. And groups complained that the suspension was putting lives at risk, while officials from Florida to Washington provided conflicting explanations and disclaimed responsibility for the decision. The White House, acutely aware of the lessons from the response to Hurricane Katrina, steps to reverse the situation. Thomas E. Donnellan, the President's Deputy National Security Advisor, led an effort throughout the weekend, along with the military and civilian agencies, to address the capacity issue. In Port-au-Prince, doctors welcomed the news of resumed airlifts, which they said were vital for some of their neediest patients.
Haitian authorities arrested 10 Americans from a U.S. Baptist church after the group was caught trying to take 33 Haitian children out of the country. They stand accused of abducting the children, but they say the episode is a result of their not understanding procedures. The 5 men and 5 women were arrested Friday night as they were transporting the children on a bus bound for the Dominican Republic. A statement from the church's website stated that the children were headed for an orphanage across the border in the Dominican Republic. Haitian officials detained the church members out of concern that the children may be susceptible to child trafficking. The Americans maintain that the episode is a miscommunication resulting from their unfamiliarity with the requirements. Speaking from a jail cell in Port-au-Prince, Laura Silsby said she intended to return to Haiti to complete the required paperwork after the children were safe. When we come back, Apple unveils the much-anticipated iPad.
And the Grammys took place last night. We'll tell you who won.
A light wintry mix is possible this evening and overnight, which will lead to more clouds tomorrow and tomorrow afternoon. However, we are looking forward to some midweek sun and another possible storm on the horizon for the end of the week. All that and more coming up after the break.
The images from Haiti are heartbreaking. Homes, hospitals, and schools destroyed. Families searching for loved ones. Parents trying to feed their children. But we can all do something. We can help the American Red Cross as it delivers the food, water, and medicine that can save lives. Donate $10 by texting Haiti to 90999. Visit redcross.org or call 1-800-RED-CROSS. Thanks for your help.
Welcome back to SLU News 22. David's here with a look at the upcoming weather week. Now, last week brought us some snow. Are we going to see any this week?
Oh, it's a possibility we could see some more snow this week, as we are still in this rather wintry pattern. Temperatures are going to remain on the slightly mild side, but we still do have some more winter chances in the forecast. Today we saw near normal temperatures. We saw a high temperature of 37 here at SLU. It was 39 out at Lambert. That is slightly below the normal high of 40 degrees, but it is pretty close to where we should be for this time of year. Across the region during the afternoon hours, temperatures were mainly in the 30s across the Missouri and Illinois region. Off to our north and west, however, it was much colder, temperatures in the single digits across the Dakotas. Now, looking at our satellite and radar, you can see there is a little weak impulse moving across the region that brought us a thick cloud cover this afternoon, and there is a few scattered snow flurries, slight sprinkles, or even some drizzle that will be moving into the area as we head through the overnight hours. This little weak impulse that is sitting over Iowa is slowly gliding in our direction, and that means we will see some periods of flurries and drizzle throughout the overnight hours. I don't know why the title moved off the screen there, but this is on Tuesday. We will see mostly cloudy skies as that low pressure departs the region. Towards the end of the week, though, we are turning our attention to a new storm system that will be developing down there in Texas behind the logo there. It'll be moving our way as we head through the day on Friday and towards the weekend. And if it takes the right track, we could be talking about more snow here in the St. Louis region, possibly more snow than we saw this past weekend with that storm that moved to our south. Now, when you wake up in the morning, temperatures are going to be around 29 degrees. It is possible there could be still a few scattered flurries or patches of drizzle around in the early morning hours. That clears out by noon, and we have just left with mostly cloudy skies, a temperature around 35 degrees and a high around 30. Well, the high should be around 40 in the afternoon. That should say 40, with the clouds hanging tough. Temperatures falling back to 33 degrees by the time we get to the evening hours, with mostly cloudy skies continuing. Here is your 7-day forecast. Once again tomorrow, well, apparently I'm going for a high of 38. I thought I changed it to 40. But we do see a high of 40 by Wednesday with clearing skies, mostly sunny skies, in fact. So we should see a good day of sun on Wednesday. Clouds do return into the forecast by Thursday afternoon, and then that storm approaches on Friday with a chance for snow or rain showers, turning to all snow by Saturday morning. So it is still on the mild side, but a few more chances for winter weather as we head through the week.
Okay, that's snow. It's winter. I'm gonna have to live with it.
We're gonna deal with the snow for at least a few more weeks here before we finally flip the corner to spring.
Okay.
It's not that bad. We can deal with it.
On Wednesday, in a highly anticipated event, Apple introduced its latest creation, the iPad, a 9.7-inch multi-touch tablet computer. The tablet runs on software similar to that of the iPhone operating system. The iPad has 1632 and 64 gigabyte model, as well as a 3G option. Models with 3G will be unlocked and will be able to use GSM micro SIMs. AT&T will offer two data plan options, a $14.99 option for up to 250 megabytes per month, and a $29.99 option for unlimited data. No contract is required for either option, and free access to AT&T's Wi-Fi hotspots is included. The iPad will have standard apps for personal information management, including an address book, a calendar, along with email, Safari, Google Maps, and Notes. A special version of iTunes is also on board to provide optimized browsing experience on the device's 9.7-inch screen.
According to Scott Forstall, the iPad can run virtually every app without modification, with an on-screen button to scale an app's resolution up and down as desired. iPhone users will not need to repurchase apps to load them onto an iPad. A new app, iBooks, was also introduced. Apple referenced Amazon's Kindle, describing that they wanted to stand on their shoulders and go a little further. The iBooks app has a store, the iBook Store, featuring content from Penguin, HarperCollins, Simon & Schuster, Macmillan, and Hachette Book Group. New iPad-specific versions of iWork applications also made an appearance at the event. with demos of keynote pages and numbers at the end of the event. Jobs described the iPad as the company's most advanced technology and a magical and revolutionary device at an unbelievable price.
It is a criticism frequently leveled at those promoting wind or solar power as an alternative to fossil fuels. What happens when the wind doesn't blow or the sun doesn't shine? Well, now there's a smart answer, at least for Europe. Simply and instantly switch to another source of clean green power. Plans for a massive electricity grid dedicated to uniting the various sources of renewable energy available in Northern Europe have taken a step forward in January as 9 countries formally agreed to work together on the project. The grid should mean that when one source falls short, another takes up the slack to ensure a continuity of supply. The countries signed up include Germany, France, Belgium, the Netherlands, Luxembourg, Denmark, Sweden, Ireland, and the UK, and they hope to have the grid working within the next decade. It is seen as an essential step toward European Union's pledge to source 20% of its electricity from renewable energies by 2020.
Google is continuing to kill off support for Internet Explorer 6 in its services. The search giant has announced that 2 more of its web properties will stop supporting IE6 as of March 1st. Many other companies have already stopped supporting older browsers like Internet Explorer 6, as well as browsers that are not supported by their own manufacturers, a blog post on the official Google Enterprise blog explains. We're also going to begin phasing out our support, starting at Google Docs and Google Sites. As a result, you may find that from March 1st, key functionality within these products, as well as new Docs and Sites features, won't work properly in older browsers. Older browsers, according to Google, include anything prior to IE7, Firefox 3.0, Chrome 4.0, and Safari 3.0.
And last night's Grammys, country pop starlet Taylor Swift, who rocketed to stardom with the ballad Teen Love that she wrote on her bedroom floor, Sunday became the youngest artist to win the coveted Grammy for Album of the Year. Swift, who turned 20 in December, took home 4 awards after being nominated 8 times. She has never won any Grammys. Her album, Fearless, was the most popular release in the United States last year, and its U.S. sales to date stand at 5.4 million copies. And winning the Album of the Year, Swift broke a record held since 1996 by Alanis Morissette, who was 21 when she won for Jagged Little Pill, an album with decidedly more adult content. Swift was the first solo female country winner to ever of the award, and the first female pop winner since Celine Dion won in 1997 for Falling Into You. The fresh-faced singer had been expected to dominate the music industry's top awards.
But she was overshadowed by R&B singer Beyoncé, who won 6 awards, including Song of the Year, the most won by a female artist at a single event. Beyoncé would have won 7 awards if her husband Jay-Z had not beaten her in the rap-sung category. He ended up with 3 Grammys overall, taking his career haul to 10. But Beyoncé's career tally rose to 16, including 3 with her former group Destiny's Child. Both Beyoncé and Swift were eclipsed by the Record of the Year by Tennessee rock band Kings of Leon, who were the surprise honorees for the pop radio hit You Somebody. The televised ceremony was packed with diverse performances, since 100 of the 109 categories were announced during a low-profile ceremony earlier in the day. Mary J. Blige and Italian tenor Andrea Bocelli earned a standing ovation for their version of Bridge Over Troubled Water, performed as a fundraising tribute to earthquake-ravaged Haiti. The song went on sale on iTunes immediately afterwards, with all proceeds going to the American Red Cross.
Avatar is still the top film in the U.S. and Canada for the 7th weekend in a row, becoming the first movie to surpass $2 billion in combined global and domestic ticket sales. James Cameron's 3D sci-fi adventure earned $30 million in U.S. and Canadian theaters this weekend. Hollywood.com box office said yesterday in a statement the film has taken $2.04 billion worldwide since its December 18th release by News Corp's 20th Century Fox, according to Hollywood.com. Avatar may eclipse the $600.8 million domestic record of Titanic tomorrow or February 3rd, according to Hollywood.com. Cameron, maker of the 2 top-grossing movies of all time, has the chance to augment his filmmaking legacy with the Academy Award nominations tomorrow. Avatar won the Golden Globe for Best Dramatic Feature and surpassed the $1.84 billion record set by his Oscar-winning 1997 production Titanic last week.
Edge of Darkness, Mel Gibson's first starring role since 2002's Signs, opened at number 2 with sales of $17.1 million. The romantic comedy When in Rome opened in third place, taking in $12.1 million. The Tooth Fairy, starring Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, held steady at fourth place, and The Book of Eli, the post-apocalyptic thriller featuring Denzel Washington, sliding from third last weekend, rounded out the top 5.
When we come back, we have a new addition to the SLU News 22 team. Will Whitehead will have sports.
And can you get banned from a town? One Missouri town has done just that. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to SLU News 22. We've got a new addition to our team. This is Will Whitehead. He'll be doing sports for us now. And I heard a lot about the Super Bowl 44 this Sunday, obviously, and there's a few losses from the Billikens men's team.
Yeah, it's a big thing going on this weekend. You know, football. It's a great day of the year, and we're ready to talk about it. In sports, it's the best weekend of the year for football, NFL football Sunday. The Super Bowl 44 will be held in Miami, Florida, featuring the two best teams in the NFL. No major upsets, no wildcard teams, no shocking comebacks. It's the same two teams that have been on top since week 1. The New Orleans Saints and the Indianapolis Colts is expected to be a barn burner. Predictions across the country say the game will be close. In Las Vegas, the Colts are 4-point favorites, while Saints fans are much closer to the game sites in Miami. As is always the case on Super Bowl Sunday, numerous networks will provide hours of coverage before kickoff is scheduled for 5 o'clock Central Time on CBS. In other news, in Billiken basketball, the men struggled through 2 losses this past week. Last Wednesday, a heartbreaking overtime loss to George Washington pushed the Bills to 3-2 in the A-10. But Sunday, SLU was embarrassed by Richmond, dropping to 3-3 in the conference. This week, St. Louis finally returns home to Shea Fitz Arena, and they take on St. Bonaventure on Wednesday night at 7 o'clock. And the athletic director, Chris May, and head coach Rick Majerus have both said that they are confident in this team's talent, but they hope to have more support from the student body for home games. The Blue Crew hopes to have a large and loud student section on Wednesday. The women's basketball team is also home this week with a game Tuesday night against Duquesne. Ladies are just 1-5 in the conference play, but they hope that the upcoming homestand can catapult them into A-10 contention. A handful of spring sports are finally getting started on campus. As the weather warms up, men's and women's tennis have both begun non-conference play matches, and track and field is off and running, opening their year with a full successful meet at Northern Iowa. And the men's baseball team just weeks away from starting their spring workouts. As the season progresses, we'll continue to keep you updated on Billiken sports.
In odd news, man's banned from Central Missouri town.
We'll tell you what led him to that conclusion when we come back. So stay with us.
The images from Haiti are heartbreaking. Homes, hospitals, and schools destroyed. Families searching for loved ones. Parents trying to feed their children. But we can all do something. We can help the American Red Cross as it delivers the food, water, and medicine that can save lives. Donate $10 by texting Haiti to 90999. Visit redcross.org or call 1-800-RED-CROSS. Thanks for your help.
In tonight's Odd News section, you have to wonder, how can you get banned from a town? Pay a teenager to vandalize the town statue. 57-year-old Rex Barstow Sr. was sentenced to 60 days in jail and 4 years probation and must pay nearly $8,000 to cover damages to the statue in the town of Clark in central Missouri, about 25 miles north of Columbia. A judge also ordered Barstow to stay out of the tiny community in southern Randolph County. Barstow was convicted in December of paying a 14-year-old acquaintance between $20 and $60 to knock over a new statue, a stone monument commemorating the life of Bradley, a Clark native and famed general in World War II. The memorial has since been replaced, and that's just wrong, really.
That's just kind of silly. I mean, to pay somebody to kick it over, I guess he kind of deserves being banned from the town after that.
I wonder if he got a ban if he just kicked it over himself.
I don't know. I wonder if it would be any
You gotta hire someone.
You gotta hire
You
someone.
have to wonder what happened to the 14-year-old.
Yeah.
If he got banned, what happened to the
He's a minor.
14-year-old?
You got $60.
The story doesn't say. And the judge, I read another story and it said the judge wasn't even sure he could actually issue an edict like that. But, you know, apparently it sticks. And we think, and
You have David here with a last look at the weather.
All right. Well, we are expecting some mild temperatures for the middle of the week. I mean, I guess they're mild. They're average for this time of year. The average high is 40, and we'll be right around there. Some light drizzle or flurries as we head through the night tonight, and then possibly more significant snowstorm as we head towards Friday and Saturday. You can see I've upped the snowfall potential from earlier in the newscast to 30%, as it looks like there's just a slightly better chance that we'll see some snow this Friday.
a lot of clouds in that forecast.
Some sun on Wednesday, but then more clouds,
It's not
unfortunately.
that bad.
Okay,
It's not
well,
that bad. We can deal with it.
we can live with that.
Been going through it.
Yeah.
We thank you for joining us this week. Follow us online at SLU-TV.SLU.edu, and on Twitter you can keep up with our news from our content partner, University News, at unewsonline.com. This is SLU News 22.